just left it on. I couldn't get no audio. I was getting ready to swap it out. Then all of a sudden audio came in. So, yeah, I don't know if it's, I hate just jumping to this conclusion because I always smell a couple, but, some bad caps, charging up, or kind of felt like maybe the audio I see, like, had to warm up. I don't know. It was enough where I was like, oh, I'm going to have to take the cover off that.
Oh man, that sounds like a classic case of ground screws.
It very possibly could be. It's an old radio, and I know it had some holes on the back from some switches that used to be in it, so who knows what kind of butchering is inside.
These weather channels on these new radios don't work for shit on base antennas, and now I remember the QT40 didn't work at all, but I put it out in the vehicle, and it seems to work pretty good on a mobile antenna.
Probably no front end in the radio. When you put it on the base antenna, it's getting overloaded. I bet you if you put a bandpass filter, but, that's not going to be feasible, but it's probably getting overload. There's probably no front end.
But it's not receiving anything.
Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, Baofengs are like that too. It won't receive shit because it's getting pounded.
See, I was actually thinking maybe it was just because it was too long of an antenna. The mobile antenna was closer to, full wave up there maybe? No?
I even tried disconnecting the ground, just keeping the center conductor connected, and it still didn't receive shit.
Base, how can you get a full wave out of a base? I'm curious. I want to know if it can be done. How can you get a full wave out of a base station antenna? I'm on the front side though, but I was always concerned. I was always wondering how you get a full wave out of a base antenna. Well, I mean, we're talking weather channels are up around like 154 megahertz or whatever. So, a 27 megahertz antenna is going to be well over a full wave up there. So at least if you go with a mobile antenna, you might be closer to, I don't know what a full wave would be on 150 megahertz, or roughly 2 meters, 6 feet. So a mobile antenna is going to be close to 6 feet, 60 inches, closer to 5 feet or so. You got 5/8 ground plane, you got a half wave ground plane, you got a quarter wave ground plane. Why don't I have a full wave ground plane? They try to say they got a full wave J-pole, but yeah, I mean it's just a lot of metal to have stuck up on this band, that's for sure. So here she was doing what I started. So is the full wave better than all the rest? Is the full wave better than all the rest of them that they? So I don't know this for a fact. No, we could get into this conversation, see if anybody else wanted to jump in, but I have heard and read some articles, and I don't know 100% how true this is, but once you get over about 0.64 wave, after that, like the 3/4 wave and the 7/8 wave that they have out, they say over 0.64, the balloon, is what I call it. I don't know what you're going to call it, but the radiation pattern going off itself, the top of the balloon where it's getting squished down actually starts folding back in on itself, and you lose some. I don't know if that's true or not, but there was a big long article from a very presentable person that claimed that, and I don't know if it's true, but it's just something I always saw and read. Well, all right, I appreciate that. Some good information. All of you guys pretty knowledgeable. I was just curious, and I appreciate y'all coming in there what I was asking. Thank you so much. 25 in Dallas, Texas, standing by. We're gonna try to see if
we can get this Facebook up and going for you, Hawkeye. Let's see if I can figure out how to make comments work this time.
Man, we got some strappers out there tonight. Everybody is strapping.
See, and you know, I'm not a very smart man, but I did remember seeing them little black specks on that board. I don't think I was quite on par to where I thought they were, but I did see them.
Oh yeah, that freaking blew me away. I'm telling you, I would have put money on.
Test, 1, 2.
Man, I know I don't have the best memory, that's for damn sure, but I'm like, man, I don't know. Maybe it was a flea running across the top of my phone.
I was thinking Mandela effect, slit timeline, Alzheimer's. I don't know what was going on.
Oh, we definitely have some Mandela effect going on. And yes, Mr. Radio Man 1212, she's a working.
Alright, I'm back. I'm feeding the audio into the internet off the aux port on the 2000, so I was giving that a try.
Feeding the audio to the internet through the aux port. I'm kind of confused. What are we doing?
On the Cobra 2000, there's an aux port. I think back in the day, maybe people hooked a tape recorder to it, so it picks up my live mic audio and then line level audio off the radio. Well, I patched that into my soundboard, so that's the audio I'm sending up to the internet.
It picks up your mic audio? I mean, I know it picked up, it was line level low for the receiver of the radio, but I didn't know it actually picked up any mic audio.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm listening to myself. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep.
Huh. I know I've had stuff plugged into that before and I've never noticed it. I mean, you know, this was probably 20 years ago, but I never noticed that.
Yeah, my guess is that back in the day, people made audio gates that way. I don't know.
It's not just like I've always thought, commercial here. It's not just create a book, post it, and you make money. There's a strategy that you gotta fucking go off. Maintain, I guess I should say, to be successful. Yeah, that's why every guru will tell you, you might get, you got a slim shot at it, you might go viral, but no guarantee. Money. He said that if you, say for instance, you sell a product that's $500, an affiliate product that you get commissions of $500.
Did I hear Portland Greg out there too at one point make a comment?
Oh, me?
God, you only need.
Ah, I did.
Somebody comes on and they say you got 10
Well, seems you've discovered TalkBack.
people buy that.
Apparently so. I didn't realize that I mean, that's how I interpret it. That's how it works.
Huh. Yeah, maybe talkback. I know the PA will get some of that out sometimes, but if you're not selected to PA, I wouldn't think it would. So I don't know. That's just weird. I like it. I don't want to pull mine out to try it, but I like it.
Yeah, hello to Floyd on Facebook and Waylon. And, or no, Floyd's on YouTube's. And, no, would explain why he didn't notice it. It was 20 years ago. Yeah, he forgot, Floyd. He forgot.
I don't know as if I would say I ever, used it for much. I remember, why would I plug it in again? I think I remember feeding it into, my home stereo at one point in time on my, garage or something because the audio coming out of the speaker jack was too much, or I don't remember, but for all I remember, maybe I never even plugged a jack into that damn thing.
Yeah, I looked on the schematic and I was like, oh, it's line level audio. And my assumption is, I didn't really research it, but I plugged it, I got a little headphone amp here that, that I use on my cans. I just plugged it in my headphone amp and I was like, keyed up the radio and I'm like, well, did you listen to that? So I went, all right. So my assumption is back in the day, people would hook a tape recorder and I guess, make audio gates. I don't know what the purpose is. Or maybe it'd be a pain in the ass if you hooked it into a stereo though, because it would feed back. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, hooked to a big stereo, you would definitely get some feedback if the audio comes through it. I don't know. I've never really seen a radio that, you can plug in a set of headphones and now you can monitor your audio and have talkback and whatever. I've just never really seen a radio or noticed a radio that had that on there. I don't like talkback, so I would have plugged something into it once and then I would have cut the cord and never plugged it in again.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't, the way I'm doing it, you wouldn't have to hear yourself anyways, because it's fed into a microphone port and going straight up. Without explaining it, I'm not listening to it, but I'm feeding it to the internet, but I'm listening to myself on an off-air pickup, so I can at least hear my off-air signal.
Oh, no, I get exactly what you're doing, so you're not going to hear it, and your feed over the air is not going to hear any talking or any noises if you're not keyed up. So they're going to hear the conversation we're having, but they're not going to hear you rip a juicy one in the background.
Not gonna lie, I'm not ready to trust a fart yet.
Oh, yeah. You had one of those mornings, I forgot. Yeah, you don't want to trust that.
I was upstairs earlier and I thought about it and I'm like, I might want to go to the toilet.
So where the hell is Floyd? When he's watching the live, he's not on the radio? What the hell?
probably cutting through the skip's going to be an issue.
Yeah, there's definitely still some noise in there for sure. So it's playing back through Media Player, which is not always conducive for different types of, yeah, I don't know what the hell this is even recorded in. I think it's in like MP64 or some shit. I've never even heard of that. Oh, it's a wave dot RF64, but usually a wave is just an audio file. I'm gonna poke around.
Oh, I know what you're doing wrong. You're recording Spectrum. So to play that back, you hit a different record button. You hit the data record button, which is a no. You either need to hit, so if you look up in your top pane, you should have audio, data, data playback, data scheduler, video. You hit the data record button. So to play that file back, you have to go to the data playback pane and hit open. And then, so it recorded Spectrum. When you record Spectrum, you can play with all your filtering. You literally recording a slice of Spectrum. So you can move it around like a replay of what happened in the Spectrum. If you just want to do like a clip, you either want to hit the video one, which is all the way, and it looks like the little thing they use in the movies that goes action. You want to hit that. That records video. If you want to record audio, you got to go all the way to the left, and that's got a picture of a speaker with a red record button. So what you did is you recorded Spectrum. That's why you got no audio. So if you want to play that back, you got to. If you just want to test it, you got to go to data playback.
I mean, I should still have to play it back through this, but so does the video one record audio too, or do I need to do two different recordings?
No, the video one will record video and audio.
Roger. I'll have to try hitting that button.
Yeah, the data playback's kind of neat. Like, you could take, especially with, an SDR, you could record the entire 40 channels for like an hour, and then you open it in SDR, excuse me, you open it in SDR console, and then what you do is you can literally, as it's playing back, you can move it around like you're actually in front of a live receiver. So you can go around the different channels, you can play with the filtering, the mode, everything. I don't know what I would do with that. I guess if you were trying to see what's happening in a slice of Spectrum, I guess. I don't ever use it, but I have used it just to see what it does.
I mean, that's kind of, I don't know what it would do that you could actually, that's funky, because I mean, you would think changing those filters and stuff it would have to come in from the receive off the dial pickups, but maybe not. I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, I didn't see there was a playback on there for that on there, but that would be, I don't know, there could be something that would be useful for it. I don't really know what, but I guess.
Yeah, if you wanted to play that file back, you'd go to open in SDR console, and it's in the data playback pane, I guess we'll call it, and you would navigate to that file, and it'll play right in SDR console, and you can fast forward. It's like it's kind of like the John Madden instant replay. You can move things around, and I can't quite hear what that guy's saying. Let's try let's try this, and oh, that's on FM. Let me put it on FM. It's I don't know. I messed around with it a little bit one time just to see what it would do.
Yeah, but after, I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool if, you know, that must take up a fuck ton of data, room on your hard drive, but it would be kind of cool for, I don't know, I guess if you were that involved and you wanted to, when you were talking at that time, there was 3 other conversations going on that you wanted to be part of, but you weren't part of, and you were kind of snoopy and you wanted to listen to everybody. I guess that would be an option. I mean, I don't know. That would be all I could see it good for, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure there's some people that make use of it.
I mean, I actually wouldn't mind it for, you know, I still don't have what I think in my receive quality on there. For what I'm listening to, I don't love the sound that comes through my speakers. I don't love the fact that I always have static on top of people, depending on how wide of a filter I have going on. Now, I don't use the noise reduction circuits, but I've tried a few, and some of them make it sound better, but I can't tell. So, I mean, if that still works, that would almost be worth doing a recording of something that I thought somebody, whatever, myself, that I thought was good, and be able to go back and play with some of those noise reductions and you know, the levels, and try to see if I could find something that I would like. Do you use any noise reduction on yours? I'm just curious, because like, if I have a 4 kilohertz isn't a wide receive, but if I have 4 kilohertz on, even when you key up, or I key up, I hear static come in with you. And if you talk and you fill up that whole, like, you know, the receive pane, not the pane, but, you know, the filter, then there's no static. But if you don't have, like, a wide audio, I gotta go in there and, like, narrow up the receive to get rid of that static. And it's hard for lower signals. It's just weird. I didn't know if it was anything that, you know, I haven't gone too far with it because I always just use it for a visual interpretation personally, but I don't find it necessarily convenient to listen to myself.
Hey, Floyd, have a good night. Yeah, I guess I just don't notice it that much. I don't know. What are you using for speakers? Just kind of curious. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm running it through that friggin' dump Harman Kardon you got me, and then it's coming through these speakers that are like 3 feet tall. So I don't know.
I mean, they're nice computer speakers. Like, if I go up and listen to FM, like regular FM radio on there, it sounds absolutely amazing. It sounds better than my big stereos. You know, it's just weird. The sideband doesn't sound too bad either. It's just something with AM, and, you know, it's not horrible, but it's not meh. I do know I have, like, there's a sub box on here, and if I have too much bass, I definitely notice that does not sound good, so I gotta keep the bass way down. But I'm not gonna say they're the best speakers for this application, but listening to music on these speakers is phenomenal. You know. They can stay on right.
Come on, Hawkeye, make a transmission.
I'm just watching a rust repair on YouTube and listening.
Alright, we need some, this is your second night or whatever running that radio. We need to hear some early on evaluations.
I'm on the quad 6 tonight because it's like I can reach it. It's like right there.
Son of a...
I got my feet up on the desk. I actually got the 2100 amp on just to heat up the room.
I like it. I actually was going to fire up to 101 tonight, and I looked at the shelf, and I wanted to fire up to 101 and do a little bit of, wanted to pull the cover off the top. Well, I mean, it's just got that one cover you pop off easily, and had a few things I wanted to dick around and look at, but yeah, instead, here I am.
Let me take off my fucking gloves. I got room my leg.
Just for a point of reference, Radio Man usually only gives me about a 7 when he's normally running, but tonight he's getting up into the 9 range. Different radio or something?
I mean, I'm on the Cobra, so I'm running less power than I would. Are you on a different radio?
No, same radio as always.
That's what I was actually thinking. I was like, ain't that odd?
Yep, they're following us. They're just way back there. Side 2.
So, here's a dumb question. Like on Cobra mics, you gotta have the, if you don't have the mic plugged in, you get no receive audio. So when you're setting up a mic plug, what pin for the audio to work, is that just like coming, are you just looping it back inside the mic plug? Because I was trying to look that up and I couldn't find an answer to that.
Sure they know all about it.
You have an audio wire. You have a ground wire. Yeah, you should have just 4 wires. On a 5-pin Cobra, I could tell you a 4-pin right off the top of my head. 5-pin, I don't remember. I almost think the middle pin is not used, but yeah, you should just have 4 wires. You might, depending on, that mic is going to be new enough, you're not going to use. It might have a yellow and or blue. Some of the old ones you have to double the blue and the shield up, but you should just be using your shield. Your red is transmit, your white is receive, and your white is audio and your black is receive.
Yeah, but what's like you unplug the mic and the audio goes away. I guess I'm thinking like to my days on Motorola. They had a shorting plug in the back, and that's what dictated the front speaker or an external speaker. So are you taking the audio coming on the receive and like shorting it to the, you can't just be shorting it to the ground. What is cluing the radio in to turn on the speaker?
Yeah, it's shorted to ground. So if you were to reach in there with a screwdriver and bounce it around, you're going to find one pin, 2 pins that do nothing. That's going to be your ground. But if you went from a pin to the edge of it, you're going to find 1 pin to the edge where you're going to get receive. You're going to find 1 pin to the edge where you get transmit, and then 1 pin to the edge that you would get a squeal, but you don't have receive on that, so you ain't going to get a squeal. It literally just shorts it to ground, and then when you key up your mic, it will go from the black wire being shorted to ground to short the red wire to ground. Now, if you key up really slow, depending on the mic,
that overlap is there. You'll hear a little clunk in your radio, or sometimes you can actually get it to squeal because you can get the radio to key up at the same time as the receive if you're really, really slow, or if the contacts where your mic are bent up, sometimes you got to tweak them a little bit. So it's not often. Obviously, if you key up fast, you never notice, but every once in a while, a certain mic, you will get that to happen. Quiet, please. I am analyzing.
What the fuck was that?
Quiet, please. I am analyzing.
Quiet, please. I'm analyzing. Sounds like something out of Danger, Will Robinson.
Oh, I know. Don't worry, Jim. I got it.
Quiet, please. I am analyzing.
I'll bring it up on Saturday for you.
All right. Well, I got a 5-pin plug the other day when I visited with Portland Greg, and I was gonna wire it up for this radio, and it's currently wired with a 4-pin plug, and Shorty? No. Yeah, Shorty's listening to us down in Massachusetts, I guess. What was I going to say? Oh, so I tried to hook up the 4-pin into my adapter with the D104 and it wouldn't work. And I said, oh, it's probably not wired in the 4-pin either. So I was like, I got to figure out what they're doing. So it's just shorting the ground. All right, so it's kind of like on the old Motorola radios. They used to do something like that.
Roger. I mean, yeah, most adapters would have that in there, but I will have to say that not all 4-pin wiring, most people that wire 4-pins now don't hook up the black wire. They don't hook up the receive wire because obviously there are many radios out there that need it. And besides the occasional Cobra 29, who's really going to need a receive wire on anything that's newer. So it's not uncommon to pull a mic pin apart, a 4-pin mic plug, and only see 3 wires hooked up. That's really normal.
Hey, radio man.
Hey, Greg, go ahead.
Number 1 is audio. Number 2 is ground. Number 3 is receive. And number 5 is transmit. Yeah, but you got...
Son of a bitch, I didn't have my pen ready. I got my pen ready on number 5.
1 is audio. Number 2 is ground. Number 3 is receive. And number 5 is transmit.
Okay. Number 1 is audio, number 2 is ground, number 3 is receive, and number 5 is transmit. Copy.
Whatever you do, don't touch number 4, you'll die immediately.
Yeah, I like it.
Dick will fall off, either one.
Oh my god!
Well, first your dick will fall off, and then you will die.
Oh, I don't like any of this. So what the hell was the point of making a radio that cuts the audio out when you unplug the mic? Was there some practical reason to do that?
I don't know, I think that's the most ignorant thing that Cobra ever did. It's annoyance.
I just didn't know if there was some, I don't know, some weird FCC rule or some shit back then, or I don't know. I just what the hell was the practical reason for that?
Must be.
I have a feeling it has to do with older radios that use the actual relay to switch between transmit and receive.
I wired a 5-pin to my 148 in my car, and I made an adapter, 4 to 5 pin for that, but then I ended up using the adapter on this T-Berry, and it was I did both of those within a fucking 2-week period. It was the biggest pain in the fucking ass I've ever done.
See, yeah, I mean, my only thought was why they did it was for simplicity's sakes. I mean, if you just got a standard relay. I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking like, if I've made a couple of Cobras not do it. Like you can use a couple of diodes and a capacitor to try to make it to jump it out so it receives one way and not the other. But it's so hard. You're easier putting a relay in line. So I just assumed it was something simpler and had less parts in it is why they did it. But I could be wrong.
I was just gonna ask. I know, like you can set that radio on the table, and if you don't want to transmit on it, you can reach in there with an alligator clip and clip that fucker open, so it'll sit there and receive. Could you fucking ground that cocksucker out on the inside and then still use it? Would it work?
It will, but you have constant full audio talkback, and you're gonna squeal. Well, I mean, unless you got your mic way down, but yeah, you have very loud full audio talkback at that point.
Roger. I never tried it. I thought about doing it a couple, like, had this radio, like, man, it's a pain in the fucking ass, though, is like gonna do that, but never ended up doing it.
That seems like a really fun prank to pull on somebody.
Fuck yeah, dude, I appreciate that. This 184.
Man, I went to Roy's today, and I feasted.
You went to Roy's at lunchtime?
Hell no, I went there for breakfast.
Yeah, you must have been fasting for 24 hours or whatever beforehand.
Yeah, I was gonna get in there this morning, but I didn't want to talk to fucking High Rolla.
Yeah, I did fast. So as soon as the procedure was done, I was like, let's get some breakfast. Woo!
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I just noticed how quick it was sucking up.
Although I would have to say this morning he was pretty decent on the radio. He wasn't on off some fucking weird tangent.
I thought Hawkeye was going to bring him into a weird tangent for a few minutes. I started to get nervous.
Couldn't really hear Hawkeye. I could just hear you two talking.
Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. There ain't one shit. We're not making a turn around here.
What's up to Cornbread? Over on YouTube. Hey, Cornbread.
So we're getting off at the 183. Okay, well, Ron's gonna block a bunch of shit. Y'all just keep hauling ass up the train.
Yeah, I was going to use that D104 tonight, but I was like, oh, I'll have to figure that out another night.
Oh, you just didn't have it hooked up for audio?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could just take the mic shell apart and put a wire jumper in there. I guess that wouldn't be a big deal. I was just going to wire up the 5-pin to it, but I suppose I could just take it apart and short together pin 3 and 2 and off to the races.
Inside the mic or inside the cord?
Yeah, inside the cord, the mic plug. I mean, just inside the mic plug.
So why wouldn't you just wire up the black wire? You short it out, you'd squeal like a motherfucker. You'd hate it.
Alright, I guess I'm having a brain fart here. Where am I? On the D104, that's where I'm having the brain fart here. That's what I was saying. So you're not actually taking the RX audio and shorting it to ground in the plug. You're taking the RX audio and hooking it to a contact in the mic or something is what you're telling me.
Yeah, your mic has a two-way ground on it. It grounds it to talk, and then it goes back to ground for the audio to come back on.
Oh, 10-4. Let me go grab that microphonium. Let's have a looky-loo.
Hey, John says this is Radio 101. If you don't know how to wire up a Cobra mic, then you gotta maybe relinquish your name.
I was gonna say, I just did this twice in the past, a couple of weeks ago, and you gotta use all 5 wires on the fucking Cobra with a static wiring. Use all but the yellow if it has the yellow wire in it, but some of them old ones don't. You gotta use the red, the blue, the black, and the white.
John who?
John from Belfast. Well, he is fucking with you too, but I'm fucking with you. But yeah, no, it is shorted to ground, but you need it to unshort itself when you key up. So yes, it's just a contact in the mic. It's a normally closed contact that will open when you key up. So you got a normally closed contact and then obviously a normally open contact. One is for your receive, one is for your transmit. And as you key up, the normally closed goes to open, the normally open goes to closed.
Yeah, something in that mic's got a two-way contact in it. It closes the ground for audio and then closes the ground for receive.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Alright. Yeah, see, I got like 20 years of Motorola on the brain, and they literally had a plug on the radio. If you were using the front firing speaker, it was a little shorting plug, and it was a loop that came out. So that's, I have in my head, because that would throw guys off all the time on service calls, no audio. And you go, did you check the plug on the back of the radio? Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, but you could still receive, as long as that plug was in the back, you could still receive without a mic in it, right?
Right, but I just have that drilled into my brain, so that's what I kept thinking. Oh, it's just like a Motorola. Oh, it's just like a Motorola. It's not.
Yeah, so a 2510 is exactly like that. A 2510 has a plug on the back of it, an accessory plug, like a 9-prong plug, that 2 of them have to short out to use the internal speaker. But yeah, you don't need a mic on the front of it to receive, but you do need that shorting plug on the back or you're never going to hear anything out of the speaker.
You want to know the technical term for that 2510 plug?
Molex?
That's right.
Well, it's not a term for that plug. Molex is a brand name term for a lot of plugs. You wouldn't just go buy a Molex plug and have it plug in.
The 6-pin Molex, rectangle.
Yeah, but it's not a technical term. It's a brand.
Well,
but I mean, you go for a 6-pin Molex, you're going to have, there's going to be 6-pin flats, there's going to be 6-pin rectangles, they're going to have, there's probably 20 different combinations that they have, if not more, as far as the stylus that fit on different plugs and chassis. It's kind of like saying douche connectors in vehicles are all the same, and a 4-pin douche is not a 4-pin douche. I think that's how you pronounce it, douche. I don't know, I might get kicked off TikTok for saying douche one too many times here.
I believe that's a Deutsch connector.
For your pleasure.
Like Deutschland?
I'm not freaking German, or from Danish or Finland or something.
Whoa, we can't just throw out a word like douche connector and just steamroll over that. Can we go back to a douche connector? Is this in the same category as a douche canoe?
Oh, fucking douche canoes, they're the best.
What's a douche canoe?
Oh, I've heard a bunch of douche canoes on the radio.
Oh, them douche canoes.
Yes.
They got mouth wide as a fucking flat-bottom canoe.
See, you're getting it.
Speaking of douche canoes, went to Margaritas this weekend, and the tequila tasted watered down.
Yeah, I should have got my old radio out.
So you want to go back to Margaritas this weekend, huh, guy? Let me know, man.
I think I need to confirm that, are they actually watering it down, or did they give me the wrong shit?
Fuck, I was yelling for you Friday on my way home. Because I got out, I might have even been before you, and I was like, man, what the fuck, I wants to stop somewhere on the way home, take a left turn and grab a drink.
Oh, man.
Radio man.
Can't wait for this summer. Although, you remember I told you the new place might be near Skips? Wrong.
You must be investigating his microphonium connector.
If I make a move here in the next couple months, I might actually be headed towards Naples.
Like the company, or maybe just looking for a new job?
A new place.
Oh, yeah. I was more thinking like maybe hitting Falmouth or whatever, hit the Moose or something like that, because I know that's kind of semi on the way home, maybe?
Yeah, that's definitely not out of the way.
I mean, going to Skips is definitely further out of the way for me now than it was. We'll put it that way.
Well, Skips has midget wrestling.
I've seen it there a few times, so yeah, I love it.
Still say wrestling?
Yeah, midget wrestling.
The micro minis, I love them.
Speaking of good shows,
How about it, John? How about it, John?
Fuck John!
Where are those Twinkies at? I want some Twinkies. Might have to use the beam and turn towards the east. I don't know, on AM it might be rough. Yeah, so the Moose was on the way home, Hawkeye. I figured that was close enough, right?
Yeah, that's definitely doable. I think I ended up working a little bit later last Friday. I think I was there till like 4:30.
I'd like to say, I don't remember what time I fucking got on. I think I was trying to leave at noon, and shit came up, and our COO was in the house, and it was what it was. She was like, get out of here, and I kept trying to leave, and every time I turned around, something stupid, so it was in between that 3 and 4 o'clock range, if I remember right. Oh man, you're hearing DX with beeps? Son of a beep beep.
I'll be interested to see if we switch over to the summer hours here. I might be looking at 410s again for a while.
Yeah, but I thought last time you did that, it didn't go well.
Oh, 410s is awesome. That right there would keep me from looking for a new job. And damn them Puerto Ricans, John, see how they are? If you were running a Ranger up there, man, I turn the volume up and then that comes in.
Something with that spelling.
turn the volume up so I can hear the logos, but I get blasted out by YouTube.
Correctly.
What was that? Oh, the Puerto Rican? Yeah, that Puerto Rican, that autocorrect for Puerto Rican. I don't know what that is. So how's this old Jackson sounding? hand mic on it, so I would assume it's okay.
Yeah, that radio sounds awesome.
Oh, ja. I always love the way they look. I just like that black face. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that anymore, but I did anyway. Oh, she definitely warmed up. Fell down on frequency a little bit. She drifted off. Yeah, she a little drifter.
I should probably hook up the striker since I made the adjustment to the SWR Protect. I'll reach down here between my legs and grab the D104, hook it up, fire up the striker.
I thought for a second Hawkeye was going to break into Panama.
Yes, sir.
Reach down between my legs.
Actually, I can't, wait, is that Panama or is that I Can't Drive 55?
Panama.
Oh yeah, great song.
Radio man.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, how do you have your radio hooked to that receiver? You just have a 3.5 millimeter plug plugged into the radio and then a RCA jack plugged into the receiver?
What radio are we talking about?
Any radio that you have hooked to the Harman card?
Oh! I'm going into the back, so like, you know, like the striker's on the TV input and the SDR is on the CD input, so I just use the different inputs on the back, even though they're mono, you know, well, the SDR is not a mono signal, but like the striker is, and I just, you know, it only plays out of one speaker.
All right, I got that. But do you hook it up when you have a adapter cable like 3.5 to phono jack? Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm using, is a 3.5 millimeter to an RCA, yes.
Temple.
Yeah, my old one, I made a comment to Screwdriver that it was acting up, and I went to take it apart, and I don't remember the brand. It was nothing special. I was like, fuck, you know, I don't need anything special. Screwdriver found this over at the dump, and he's like, I don't know if it works. He goes, if it doesn't, just take it back to the dump.
I got a fish around the garage that came from Great Dump. I go back this summer, I gotta find some more.
Yeah, I cleaned it up. It works great. It's even got a switch for the headphones, so if I want to turn the speakers off and just listen through headphones and not have the speakers going in the room, I can do that too.
Oh no shit! Any radio I ever had like that, if you plug the headphones in, turn the speakers off.
No, this one I leave the speakers going. See, there's a switch on the front, so you can either have speakers going or speakers off.
Oh no shit! You got A and B speakers? Can you hook 4 of them up to that bad boy?
I don't. My Sony up at camp has that. where it's A and B and then A plus B. So like my B speakers are outside on the porch and the A speakers are inside. And then like when you're up there having drinks and you're going in and out, you put it on A plus B.
That's how the garage is wired up. I got two different sets, and so if you're jamming, you're listening to A speakers, and when you really want to jam, you gotta listen to all of them, A and B.
Well, that's exactly what we do up at camp. Or sometimes, like, you know, we were up there and we were hanging out by the fire, and the speakers fire out towards the fire pit, and people were inside playing cards. They didn't want to hear the music, and so we had the speakers outside going and the speakers inside off.
Perfect.
I took that D104 apart, and yeah, there's only 3 wires hooked up in it, so I would have to, and everything's cut flush, so I was like, oh, god damn it, but now I know what I gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta redo that whole entire end.
10-4, yep, that's what I gotta do. I gotta cut it off. It needs a new cord, but I was just hoping to hook it up on this radio tonight.
Oh, but there's a black wire in the, inside of it. You know, like, somebody didn't cut all the wires off the pads on the inside or anything.
Correct, yeah, it's all there. It's just, you know, someone hooked up the 3 wires, you know, all nice and, you know, neat, and then cut everything flush at the jacket. So it's like, oh, fuck. You know, there's like nothing there to work with.
Yeah, I've done it. Usually not with the black. I'll hook the black up because it's not going to hurt any radio that if you have it hooked up. But the yellow wire, and that one might have a blue. I don't remember. But I always snip the yellow wire off. I'm like, why do I need it? You know, I don't even remember what it went to on the board.
The Static definitely has blue, even their older mics.
No, but the newer ones, you know, it's not an old mic. It's, you know, I mean, it's old-ish, but it's not an old mic. It's not like it's a Tug 8 or anything where you need to double it up.
No, but a static for Cobra, you use all 5. You use the red, the black, the white,
to a 148 or 2000.
shield, and the blue.
Because I've got 4 wires on this D104, and with the adapter, the 5-pin to 4-pin adapter doesn't even work on a 148.
Yeah, and the adapter's messed up, or the 4 wires that are on it aren't correct or working, because it depends on how somebody wires it up. Because there is, on some D104s, older D104s, the older D104s and the Silver Eagles are different, but there is a blue wire, and you have a ground, but you also have a shield. And some of them, the blue actually goes with the ground, and some of them, the blue will go with the receive. It's really weird. And sometimes it takes a little dicking around depending on when the D104 was made.
Yeah, so this seems to be working fine since I did that adjustment to that sensitivity.
Roger.
Would you say you noticed, like, if the A&L was on, you could hear, like, 2 or 3 channels away?
You actually might almost have too much audio. But yes, so with the A&L on and the noise blanker, what I noticed, and I think Radio Man confirmed this, not as much, but like from here, I could hear, Skinner on 19. So it seemed worse with wideband radios. But I could hear him on every channel. Like, I thought it was somebody down in there talking Skep. And I wasn't getting swamped from, like, 500 or anybody like that that'll normally swamp me a little bit. It was just, you'd hear them like they were on this channel. And it was just really weird. And it was more of somebody who was wide-banded than non-wide-banded. But when you turn it off, nothing.
Do you remember if that was on AM or sideband?
It was definitely on AM. I couldn't tell you if I tried it on sideband or not.
Yeah, I just cut the audio back to 11 o'clock from 12 o'clock.
She's definitely loud, that's for sure.
Okay, so that's 10 o'clock. Does that sound better?
That sounds great right there.
Roger.
Yeah, you know, and it was weird. It's weird how I pick up on some of these things that other people don't, yet I can't hear certain things. And don't get me wrong, like, I know my hearing's not great. Trust me, I have a hearing test done every year, and I'm pretty much deaf at certain frequencies, but, like, I always hear when Maniac has a hum in his radio, and everybody else never notices it. And if I say something, they're like, oh, I can hear it a little bit, but it's, like, very noticeable. You know, and for some reason, I noticed that receive all the time. I'm like, man, something's wrong with my radio. But it does it on both of my strikers. Not bad. And it was one night that it was really quiet. And I want to say Wingnut might have been out here with his, or maybe Swiper, Radio Man. I don't remember, but I know we tried it. It was Skinner was just the one that was out here that I could do a lot with that night. Because like I said, I was trying to talk to him. I thought it was DX. It was like fucking 11 o'clock at night or some shit. And then somebody else did it, and they said, oh, I actually can hear that a little bit. It was just weird. But like I said, it was odd though, like I couldn't hear Radio Man, you know, 2 channels away. But yet, you know, Radio Man's giving me a 60. But yet, you know, he was only giving me like a 7, and I could hear him almost on every channel. But it wasn't a swamp, it was clear as day, and giving me like a 3. You know, it was just weird. But then you turn that A&L off, couldn't hear him at all. You know, luckily I don't have a lot of static over here, so that's just the way I was running it, but I thought that was just weird.
I will say, another strange thing about the 955 is when you're on AM talking, if I switch over to either sideband, you're actually still quite understandable. Whereas a lot of other radios, you know, it will just sound weird.
Is it like that for everybody? Well, I'm not really wide-banded on this radio, but I am looking at this spectrum, and it does look wider than some other radios I have. So I know if you're wide-banded on AM, like if I, with my AC mod or my direct drive, like it will sound perfect on sideband to people. I don't know what it is about it, how it modulates it and what it does, but it will sound pretty damn good on sideband from AM. It's odd.
Yeah, I haven't messed with it that much, but I know strong stations like you and Radio Man and stuff, you guys are still quite understandable if I switch it over to sideband. I haven't messed with it that much, though I have a feeling that probably weaker stations would not be quite so understandable.
Roger.
Well, it's cool that this D104 sounds good on this radio. I mean, there aren't many radios that, I've tried this D104 on all of them. I know it sounds pretty good on the QT40, but I've never really dedicated it to a radio, but, it seems to be a pretty good match with this Striker.
I find my D104s work great on most radios. Guess it depends on how you have them set, but, it sounds really good right there. Hell, I think I'm gonna plug mine into this now just for the hell of it. Hey, none of these radios, swing like my fucking Striker does, though. You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, actually.
So that was a D104 sound on that. Besides maybe a little scratchy.
Oh, it sounds choice, man.
Roger. Man, it looks really good in the spectrum, that's for sure. This radio looks like it's definitely got a wider transmit than that 447 does.
I still might run that 447 in the truck for a little bit, just for the hell of it, after that mic. I should have those mics tomorrow.
Those mics, did you order more than one?
Yeah, I ordered 2 of the 4-pins that are brand new, and I had to go to eBay to find one with the 5-pin. He's almost out of them, and he's not going to get any more until next year, I don't think, so I figured I might as well grab them while he had them.
Man, those K-Pows are... Kapows are popular.
What was that, Radio Man?
I said those Kapows, they're popular.
So now when I start off in the morning singing Good Old Boys, you can just come back with the Batman theme.
Oh, hey Hawkeye, I was at the bench, but you reminded me of something.
Oh, is that your question?
No, but when you were talking about margaritas, watering down the margaritas, all I could think of was of the Dukes of Hazzard and Boss Hogg watering down the beer at the Boar's Nest.
Oh, Boss Hogg.
Hell yeah.
He was showing Roscoe how to make a profit.
Alright, I gotta go top off the pellet stove and I guess probably call it a night.
We need Hawkeye to, you like doing projects? I got a bike you can have.
I love doing projects like that, especially mechanical. I just never seem to have the free time. I don't know why. It's not like I'm working 80 hours a week or some shit.
You know, if you put a radio in your garage, you'd be all over that shit. I mean, you wouldn't get anything done, but it would be fun.
Yeah, I actually need to put my four-wheeler up on the jack stand and go through the brakes and everything.
Roger.
to the Texas Ranger 0269.
You know, I even picked my rotor up that's half torn apart off my floor, and I got it in here on my desk. I was actually thinking about working on it so I could drop the Moonraker down sometime this summer and put new coax on it and maybe put in a real rotor. Not that I need a real rotor, but I'm going to try to link this to that Simon clock or Simon map, and yeah, I know it has rotor controls in it, so I don't know how to interface it with my computer, but I think I'm going to find out.
Oh man.
No more antenna projects until you get that culvert blocked off.
Yeah, I probably should.
Yeah, I mean, how hard could that be? You go to the dump and you have a look at the metal pile. I'm sure there's something in there you could use.
You know, I'm going to have to look next time I go, because you're 100% right. And I probably got enough rebar kicking around. I just pound a couple of rebars in between there, weld up a little grate and pound it in the ground. But you know, the dump thing sounds like it's pretty interesting. I got to remember that next time.
My parents, when I was younger, we used to raise goats and sheep, and well, we did beefalo and the goddamn frickin' sheep. We had a culvert in one of the fields that went under the road. Of course, you know, the field was fenced in. The little friggin' sheep would go in the culvert and come out the other side, on the other side of the road. So we had to put a grate over it.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, technically, I have 3 culverts on my land. Well, no, I got 5. I got 3 from the private drive going out back to my back field, and, you know, one not because I was trying to make the cul-de-sac here at one point. And then there's the 2 in front of the road. And I've seen her in the ones in front of the fucking road before, and I'm like, God damn it. I'm going to have to need a lot of shit if I want to block all of them off. The ones at the road didn't bother me as much because she don't usually go towards the road often. Well, she goes towards the ditch. She usually doesn't go in the ditch, but those are at least 18-inch pipes. But now they're all full of sand, so I'm like, she could get stuck pretty easy. But the rest of them are like 12s, and I'm like, she's getting old. She can't make it through that shit anymore.
I'm just picturing you in the nick of time with the landing gear coming down on the backhoe.
Exactly. I'll tear that shit up. Yeah, at least 2 of them out back are just under gravel, so that would be easily doable. The other 3 are all under tar, so yeah, fuck me.
When my mother and father-in-law, before they retired, they paved their driveway, and they have a culvert, and they called the town like months and months and months in advance, and we're like, hey, you know, we're putting a new hot top driveway in. You know, they called like over the winter, get it on the schedule, come out, because the culvert was shit, and you know, like then when you can cut it up and dig it up and don't worry about it, because you know we're gonna hot top the driveway, you know, just fill it in with some dirt temporarily, but you know, well, the town never showed up when paving day came, and the paving company put one in and then submitted the bill to the town. That didn't go over well.
Nice.
But that's their responsibility. And they were, well, we think they charged too much. It was like, my father-in-law they kind of had to, hash it out, have meetings and phone calls, because they were like, well, we think they paid too much. And he's like, I called you guys and told you. And they're like, well, we can come out, we would have come out. And he's like, I don't want you cutting my brand new driveway. He's like, that was the whole point, is put it in before the new driveway goes in.
Yeah, we can come out now. What are you going to do? Fucking cut it out and then give them back their culvert and tell them, fuck you, I ain't paying? No, it's already done.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I don't remember what it was. It wasn't an earth-shattering amount of money either. It's just, the town figures, they can bury their labor, or whatever, because they have the crew and the equipment. All they got to do is, a little bit of fill and a piece of culvert pipe. Well, they had to pay for, culvert pipe fill, and then they had to pay for labor. And probably the culvert pipe got marked up, 20% or whatever. It's normal for business.
I just know there's other places, like, out of my camp in Sumner, like, the town wasn't responsible for a culvert. If you're gonna put a driveway in and you get a driveway permit, whatever, it's all checked out, that's up to you. I'm sure on certain roads, if the drainage is pitched to one side and it runs down the road, I'm sure there's a lot of driveways that obviously don't need a culvert and there's no drainage. But if you're on a drainage side, I would hope maybe they would cover it, but I don't know.
Oh, got another guy here listening on YouTube. Oh, hopefully you're hearing the audio all right, sir. I kind of threw this together kind of quickly, and just for the benefit of the people listening online, I'm coming off the aux jack on the Cobra 2000, so you're getting my live mic audio when I key up. And it seems like it's a little hot, but I don't know. But I tried messing with it. I just threw this together real quick just to try it. But I got a camera on the radio too, screwdriver. And so, well, when my culvert overflowed, I talked to the town about putting a new one in. And what I was told by the town of New Gloucester was, you're responsible for putting it in, installing it, but once you get a culvert permit or some shit, and then once you install it to their specs, they take over the maintenance of it. So you have to pay for the installation, but they take over the maintenance after it's installed.
So if there's already one there, are they supposed to be responsible to change it if there's issues? I mean, they changed mine just like 2 years ago out front. Granted, they're fucking half plugged now, because there's so much sand and shit that comes down the road, it's ridiculous. But it was a couple of years ago, they ditched the whole side of the road, they cut up my tar, which, whatever, it's not like my tar's great, but, and of course they heaved up after. I'm like, well, you're not doing it fucking correctly and put in sand. I don't know what the hell they did, but granted the old ones were heaved up really hard, so they're still better than the old ones. But yeah, because I actually cut the tar out on one of my driveways. It was heaved up so much I went and fucking sliced it, took a big section out, and then I fucking tried to tamper back down what was there and kind of backfilled it in. But I don't know if they would cover like doing that kind of work. I mean, they did repave when they pulled out and they put new ones in a few years ago.
Well, in my mother and father-in-law's case, what happened with theirs was it was an old metal one that had failed, and it heaved, and it heaved up the old hot top at the bottom of the driveway like a speed bump. So in that case, the town's responsible, at least in this town, is responsible for the maintenance of it. So what he was saying was, as a courtesy, he was like, hey, you guys got to replace this culvert. He already knew they were replacing it. He's like, can you please replace it before I pave my driveway? In my case, I wanted to put a new one in, and they were like, well, you have to shoulder the cost of doing it, but we will maintain it as long as you install it to our standards. That was what I went through. But they weren't too happy with me that year, because when they came down and ditched my road, they, it was all full of weeds and shit. And of course they ditched it, didn't throw any, they didn't hydro seed it, no riprap, nothing. They just went down with a machine, scooped it all out. Well, of course it rained a week later, and there was nothing there to soak up or slow down the water. And, I talked to the town road foreman, and I said, did you guys consult with a civil engineer, which I think insulted him. But I'm like, from what I can see, you've made the water flow faster, and all the water comes down my road, and then hits my driveway and makes a 90 and goes through the culvert under Penny Road. And it overflowed there. And he was kind of bent out of shape that I said that. But the funny thing was, is 3 months later, they came down, they rip-wrapped all the basins, and they hydro-seeded. That should have been done in conjunction with them digging the culverts out, not waiting the entire summer. And, I ended up eating all of that cost to fix the road, and, the town was fixing it, and then they stopped fixing it. And I found out they stopped fixing it because they found out they were not getting any FEMA funding. And they were only doing it because they thought they were going to get FEMA funding. Well, we know where the FEMA money ended up going. Because remember those storms we had a couple years ago?
Yep.
Yeah, they fixed my driveway 2 times, and then when they stopped fixing, I was like, what the fuck? Well, they wouldn't give me a straight answer, and then they finally came out and said, oh, well, we were only doing it because we thought we were getting reimbursed by FEMA, and we're not getting reimbursed, so you got to fix that. And I was like, oh. And then I'm like, I think you guys created the problem when you ditched the road. You guys should have immediately, within a week, should have hydro-seeded and should have put riprap down, and they finally ended up doing it, but, they acted like I was some sort of asshole for questioning it.
Well, technically they should have put check dams and whatever to slow the water down until the ground was restabilized. If you had threatened to call DEP on them, I guarantee they'd come right out and fix that shit.
Well, I didn't know that, Maniac. I just, Maniac, I'm just smart enough to know they fucked up, but I don't know what they fucked up. Like, I'm looking at it going, this ain't fucking right. You got a slope. I'm down on the downside of the slope. All the water's coming down, and it's all hitting me, and it's washing out my driveway. And, I didn't really know what to do at the time. I thought about calling a lawyer, and, I mean, really, now I think things have regrown, and, it's not an issue. The problem kind of fixed itself. So I kind of stopped worrying about it. But if they ever do that again, I'm going to have to get on their ass about it more proactively.
Here's a question. Is that culvert actually on your land, or is it in the right-of-way of Penny Road?
It goes under Penny Road. So you imagine you're coming down Penny Road, right? There's a ditch on the side of the road. And it goes down Penny Road, it comes down to my driveway, and then it changes direction. So the water's coming down, and then it makes a 90. I mean, it's not quite a 90. Let's say a 45. But it comes down where my road comes up to meet Penny Road, and the water's coming down the hill. It has to make a right turn and then go under the culvert under Penny Road. And what happened was that culvert became so full of water that it kept flowing down the hill, down Penny Road. Instead of making the right turn and going across Penny Road, it kept just going down the left-hand side of the road and went over the top of my driveway, and I had like a 4-foot fucking trench. I told the town, I said, that's a fucking safety issue. If someone was to turn in off the road, it's going to eat the front end of a car. And even the fire chief, they came down, and they were like, holy shit, they put cones out and stuff, and I was telling people that I knew that would potentially come to my house, like, hey, till I get down there and fill that in, just don't fucking just blindly turn the corner.
Yeah, you should have done like your fucking father-in-law and sent the town a bill after you fixed it. That's their responsibility. It sounds to me as though it's in the right of way. It's across culvert, across fucking Penny Road or whatever. So yeah, there's that culvert's in the fucking right of way. And even if they got out of that right of way and onto your fucking land, they're still responsible for fucking erosion control. And that should be done immediately. As soon as they fucking break ground, there should be silt fence and fucking all erosion control immediately. That's a fucking DEP issue if I ever heard one before.
Oh, I believe you, because I wasn't the only person in town that got fucked. You know, it wasn't just me that was, like, you know, like I said, I believe what you're saying, because, you know, I look around, I see when people are doing construction projects, I know what you're like, I couldn't name that shit by name, but now that you're, like, going, oh, this, and this, I'm like, oh, yeah, I've seen that shit on the side of the road. Like, I just, you know, put two and two together in my head. So I'm like, yeah, I believe you. But luckily, I had Screwdriver's, you know, backhoe loader, and I drove that down, and my neighbor has a tractor, and we were able to scoop enough dirt out of the woods that got washed out, and we were able to fill it back in enough to make it at least safely passable. You know, you couldn't go over it at 80, but enough that it wasn't going to eat the front end of your car. And then we had some fill brought in, you know, to rebuild it. But like I said, you know, it sucked. But that was like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, like the culverts that are out there on the edge of Screwdriver's driveway. Those are fucking state owned. I mean, he could go out there, but that's not even technically his property to be digging around in, because it's in the fucking right of way of the road.
Well, you heard what happened to his dog, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that one was up towards the neighbor's house, so it wasn't actually the end of the road, so there wasn't anything, that would have been on me.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing. Now I know where those orange spots were coming from.
Oh, fucking 100%, because she's been getting along for the last year. You're like, where did you go that looks like it's rusty? And after that, I know where she's been going to get rusty.
After her experience in that culvert, I'm pretty sure she ain't going back.
Hey, she's been staying away so far, but, you know, she's getting old. I'm pretty sure her mind is slipping, and she's been starting to show it more and more, like, lately. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she forgets all about it.
Hey, Screwdriver.
Yeah.
My wife goes, touches the dog, top of the dog's head. She's like, oh, what the fuck's that? She's like, what is that? Sometimes they come back. What is that? She's like, I hope that, you know, and she's like smelling it. And I pet it and I go, it's hydraulic fluid. And she goes, where the hell's that coming from? And I'm like,
Yeah, I know where.
Out there crawling around underneath the tractor.
yeah, that's what they're doing. They're crawling around underneath that thing. And she's like, it was just so funny, because it doesn't happen often. Every once in a while, the dogs will come in, and they just have hydraulic fluid on the top of their head, or grease.
Oh man, mine would like to find, usually not shit, not poop, but like a dead carcass, like a dead squirrel or something. And she loves to roll in it. Like the side of her head, all the way down her back would be covered in it. She'd be so proud. And oh man, the nastiest smell, like it would smell like shit. It wasn't actually shit, but I see her, like there'd be a dead chipmunk or a mole on the lawn. And I see her go over there and try to start rolling in it. She loves it. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dog?
Get the fuck out of there.
Oh, it's so nasty. And then you gotta go bring them upstairs and give them a bath. And it's like, motherfucker.
You gotta go chase her as soon as you see her doing it.
Yeah, snakes. I didn't know this, but snakes have a musk gland, and apparently they'll release it too, like if they're scared. And, you know, I have, you know, dogs with high prey drive, and, I mean, they fucking catch mice and toads, and, you know, I mean, basically anything that's got a goddamn heartbeat. Well, they'll catch the goddamn snakes, and then they'll take turn. I don't know what they're doing, but I'll find a snake in 3 pieces, and they'll be rubbing in it, and they're rubbing in the snake that's been full of holes and chopped into 3 pieces, and oh my god, that musk that they give off, it's so bad.
Yeah, you'd never, I don't know, a lot of people don't like snakes, but I don't want to pick plenty of them up, and them things will shit all over you.
Yeah, my dogs they find them in the stone walls and, anything. Groundhogs or moles, anything that's got a goddamn heartbeat. It was wicked funny one year. We were stacking firewood, and my wife and my daughter were all out there doing it, and she goes, "Look, I found a baby mouse." And my wife's holding this little baby mouse in the palm of her hand. My daughter was like real little, so she was crouched down. For Christ's sakes, my daughter's as tall as my wife now, but she's crouched down showing her the mouse. And my lab comes over, and like a ninja, like you didn't even know until it was too late. She just inhaled and went whoosh, and sucked the mouse in whole. And all I hear is my wife and daughter, ah!
Oh, back when I lived over at my grandparents' house, I was fucking around on the roof of the barn, and that thing had tons and tons of fucking bats in it. And going up the ladder, and there's a fucking wasp nest in the fucking soffit. So I go back up, and I'm spraying a fucking wasp nest with the spray, and a fucking bat come out of that thing, and I fucking screamed like a little girl, and down the ladder I went. So my daughter and they heard me fucking screaming. They come over in there, so I've washed the fucking bat off, and I put it on the fucking snowmobile trailer in the fucking sun so it warm up, and they're watching it. The next thing I know, they're screaming like fucking little girls, because that thing finally came to and fucking flew away.
Back to the bat cave. Yeah, I don't know why bats. I was taking the shutters off my old house, and there was one behind the shutter, and like I don't know why, but I was just like, ah! Like when I saw it. I don't know, maybe because they're just so weird looking, you don't see them in the daylight.
Well, my grandparents' barn, that thing is like infested with fucking eastern brown bats. Well, them fuckers are protected.
I mean, all it is a mouse with wings.
I don't mind them so much, but when the fucker comes flying out of a dark hole or you're spraying fucking wasp poison in and you're right in your face, yeah, they don't, I don't know, like animals like that don't bother me. Like, I'll pick up fucking snakes, but I don't pick them up anymore because every time I pick them up, they shit on me.
Yeah, I used to have a couple of them get into my house when I lived over there in Auburn. And yeah, I remember one time my wife like calling me up at work, freaking out. She's like, "I shut in the upstairs bathroom." I'm like, "Don't use the upstairs bathroom." I'm like, "Go in and catch it, let it outside, whatever." Nope, but I'm like, "The door's shut." I'm like, "Fucking, you're fine. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Trust me, that bat doesn't want to mess with you."
Oh, twice one of my close neighbor over there where I live, that fucker had a bat in his house, and it'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning, and that motherfucker be calling me. It's like, why the fuck is this guy calling me? And if I didn't answer the phone, he'd come bang on my fucking door. It's like, you gotta come get this bat. I go over there to get it, like, the first time I went over there, it's like, it's in the blinds in the bathroom. And Kelly's like, "I think it's dead. It hasn't moved in a long time."
Go in and pat it and tell me it's dead then.
I walked over and I tried to fucking just like snatch it out of the air like you're catching a fucking ball. I tried to snatch it off the fucking blind, and all I did was swat at it. And that fucker took off flying. Like, I don't think it's dead.
I got a couple bat houses outside, but None of them have taken up residence in them yet. I might try to move them to a different spot. Maybe it's not a good spot, but bats will. I guess they'll eat a shitload of mosquitoes.
Well, that was the one thing that was great about having them bats over there. Like as soon as the sun could go down, and it was them bats would come out of that barn like watching a movie.
Yeah, I have a couple bat houses. I'll have to look. I mean, I looked last season. You know, obviously they go away for the season. Nothing. But I got a couple bird houses. Bluebirds have taken up residence in. I want to hang up an owl house. There's an owl around here, a barred owl. I want to hang up one of those. Kind of neat.
Yeah, make sure your bat houses are in the sun all day. Like they get, at least 3/4 of the day's sun.
Yeah, see, I think that's my issue. They're not getting enough sun. I think I got to move them to a different part of the yard.
You paint them a dark color. You can paint them dark green. You can paint them black. But I don't know. Most people they tell you to paint them black, but I don't know. Most people don't like this big black box hanging on something. So just paint them any dark color.
Yeah, we do a fair amount of wildlife watching here. We got some, like I said, stuff out back and watch all the birds back there, and I don't know. But I was researching owl hide because I seen an owl in the trees around here, and then I don't know too. Like we got some bluebirds that like come back every year. I don't know if I encourage an owl to hang out. Owl will probably eat the goddamn bluebirds.
For some reason this feels like way doesn't feel like Monday. I think that's like the end of the week. This is bullshit. Man, I just happened to be scrolling around some TikTok and I see some beef out there between a couple of big builders or heavy hitters or something.
big brouhaha?
Yeah, it was just kind of, it was amusing to see. I guess. But yeah, there was some back and forth. Like yesterday, last night, today, I don't remember. I just happened to be scrolling through that lunchtime at work, and I was like, huh. That's where I picked up that screenshot I picked up was from one of those.
Yeah, I saw it. He's always... And he's posting it, like, in every group. Like, it's like once a month that guy has something, and he's got to post in every group. And it's like, all right, already, we get it. You're in some sort of feud, and you have to defend your reputation.
Yeah, if you gotta defend your reputation that often and with different people, maybe you gotta look at what the common denominator is. Just saying. Yeah, right.
It's like the old saying, if you bump into an asshole in the morning, you probably just bumped into an asshole. But if you're bumping into assholes all day, maybe you're the asshole.
Exactly. Yeah, some of the things you don't get to see fixing if you're not on Facebook, perusing around. It's just kind of, nobody locally, I mean, in the state, I don't even know where the fuck he's from, but, yeah, it's just kind of amusing. You know, the same shit that happens even locally, you know, it's same little beef, same shit. Somebody talks shit about somebody didn't like somebody working on something, whatever. It's kind of funny.
Well, like the old saying goes, if you ain't got nothing good to say, you ought to be quiet.
Oh, I agree. If you're trying to sell yourself out there on Facebook to have people send you stuff and you're posting videos of whatever you're working on shit and doing stuff, you gotta be ready for some people to call you out, you know? If you're not letting your equipment talk for itself, and you gotta promote yourself, you're bound to get some dirty shit back, you know?
Oh, no. Well, as long as it's honest, you know what I mean? But when they start making up stuff, that's just plain bullyism, and, yeah, just because you get the whole, liberal audience to agree with you doesn't mean that you're right. I mean, it's like gang warfare.
You know, as much as I don't like bullying, I only don't like bullying in certain aspects, you know? I'm okay with some bullying. You know, and maybe that's wrong to say, but, you know, a little bit of bullying in school, grade school, not to like somebody who is, you know, on the spectrum or can't defend themselves, but, you know, a regular person, I was bullied as a kid, a little bit, and I grew up to not be a fucking pussy, and, you know, it's kind of what's wrong with this generation. They're all pussies because nobody ever showed them not to run their mouth.
I was more or less referring to politics, you know, how the whole Democratic Party wants to sit down while they're applauding a kid with cancer or a survivor of a horrible scene, you know, and they get them all to stay sat down like that. It's, I mean, that's a Klan, ain't it? That's a gang warfare. I just think it would be so much better if, you know, some of them would stand up for what they actually do believe in instead of following the leader. It's an old saying I got, when two minds think alike, one of them minds are no longer needed.
Yeah, I have no idea the situation you're actually talking about. I guess I haven't seen that or know anything about it, but, yeah, you know, it's kind of, to me, like when they were kneeling for the Pledge of Allegiance, even in football, you know, I mean, you know, there's definitely a respecting, and I know they say, oh, they want everybody to respect these people and this and that, but, yeah, no, there's some shit that is just wrong, that's for sure. And there's some shit that some people just need to be told. And if they can't be told, you need to be smacked around a little bit. Like I said, I mean, I guess not for just no reason, you know. I mean, bullying
bullying is not right. It can definitely go too far. But like I said, it also helped produce a stronger type of fucking person, you know, compared to a lot of this stuff we have going on now.
Well, I hear what you're saying. It's helpful if it's on criticism. But if it's a damn frickin' lie, I mean, you know, it's a damn lie. That's all there is to it. That's just plain wrong. And I think the people doing that ought to suffer some consequences.
All right, guys, I'm gonna shut it down and call it a night. Screwdriver might hear me tomorrow, but other than that, I'll talk to you guys down the line.
Hey, we good? I thought about bringing the Camry to work tomorrow. I might have to find an antenna to slap on that thing. I don't know why, just to do it. Anybody looking for a good car? I got a Camry for sale. Anyway, have a good one. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Yep. Cobra 2000's working. No issues on this end. Receives real good.
Yeah. I just need to get that mic wired up.
Yeah, I'll putter on that this week. I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, no. So I'll putter on that this week.
Yeah, when it's not just connecting one wire, when you gotta cut all of them off, strip it back, and do all four, it's like, it can wait. Like I used to, I don't know what happened to them, but I had a couple of mic testers that, you know, all I use them for, I didn't use them to test mics. I use them to hold a mic plug in to do some soldering on because it's just convenient.
Well, don't do like I did, soldering that fucking thing together. You gotta remember that one starts on one end of the D10, and it goes all the way back around to 5. Doesn't jump over that fucker.
Doesn't jump over what? What would you think it would jump over, I guess? I don't know if they go, usually they start in the lower right-hand corner of the D10 and they go counterclockwise, but